They hit, yes, within the extensive Rosneft operational area.
Perhaps they are completely out of missiles already, no? So many drones are already present. Perhaps they have run out of their available missiles. It appears to be an oil depot.
My brain literally exploded. They're just bombing constantly, just non-stop, and the siren is always on.
Russia is being torn apart by explosions again. Drones have reached Sochi. The Russians practically dug down prime targets destroyed completely. The oil depot that fed the Kremlin's war machine exploded. A giant fireball mushroom. Russian air defense fired at their own. The legendary Pantsir took out a building. The tourist season is ruined. Whaling everywhere. Airports are blocked. The Russians' hysteria can't be stopped now. Watch till the end to find out more. Hello, this is Ukraine Today. I'm Darina Hutsakalo, bringing you the latest events. A night of terror in Russia's Krasnodar region. The occupiers are in a panic. After midnight, chaos engulfed the region. A desperate battle broke out in the sky between air defense and relentless unidentified drones. The noise was so loud it made Russians' ears ring. The so-called Russian sky defenders could barely wipe the sweat from their brows in time. However, as it turned out, all efforts were in vain. The drones penetrated the air defenses.
From 15 to 20 explosions were heard in different parts. Sochi? Flashes continue to flash in the sky and the sound of an engine can be heard. The air raid siren is reported to be working.
Izy Gus Nori Shah.
Well, that sound isn't good, is it?
Yeah, like the sound of a moped. What does that mean to you? That's it, that's it. Get inside. Everyone get inside. Faster, 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 faster. What are they saying?
Shine the light.
The most massive attack on Sochi. The Russian resort has turned into a real hell. The drones hit their target precisely. The oil depot in Russian Adler near the Sochi airport is gone. This epic and truly historic moment was caught on video. Unexpectedly, the local authorities confirmed the strike on this critically important facility.
Rosneft gas station. They hit the roundabout where the horseshoe is.
Social media is flooded with reports about the massive fire, and locals are filming everything on their cameras. Look at the disaster happening right now on enemy territory.
My boots are on fire. I'm your shadow.
The flames have engulfed dozens of square meters. Locals are watching the fiery However, the Russians' troubles don't end there. Minus the bridge, footage from the first minutes after the strike.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
The bridges have been blown up. The bridges have been blown up.
Crimean Wind Monitoring Group reports NASA's firm satellites detected 3 powerful fire hotspots. The first is the Lukoil oil depot, the second is the Sochinsky freight yard and the railway warehouses, and the third is the Operations Control Center. That's huge.
The performance of the S-300 and S-400 systems was also shocking. Russian air defense fired directly at residential buildings in Sochi. Daughter, something's wrong here. Our building just exploded. And after that, silence. Even the Russians themselves admitted that their air defense is at its limit.
Well, because anything can happen. They're already out of missiles. There are just so many drones now, maybe they've run out of missiles. I don't know what's going on with them. Air defense reloading. Yeah, they're just hammering away at one spot now.
Tourists who came to Sochi for a vacation are especially shocked, as they found themselves at the epicenter of events instead. A new tourist attraction just for Russians. Who will be the first to run to the parking lot in the middle of the night to hide from the swarm of drones?
They're watering down the heat. We're all waiting for it. Somewhere from the front lines. They're just bombing constantly, non-stop, and the siren is always going off outside. The kids are trying to sleep.
Instead, they try to calm themselves down, like explosions, nothing to worry about.
Guys, it was just air defense. We're sitting on Mamaika beach. 3 to 4 explosions. An explosion is... Everything worked fine, basically. Nothing really happened.
It's still unclear whether those who haven't made it to Sochi yet are happy or upset. Because of the drone attack, total shutdown of airport operations. In Novosibirsk, Omsk and Tomsk, flight delays are on an unprecedented scale.
Around 800 passengers who were planning to fly to Sochi are stranded in Siberian airports.
The Russian Ministry of Defense stated that Russian forces managed to destroy 39 drones. It was also reported that drones were harassing temporarily occupied Crimea. Military airfields were under attack.
Not only the Kacha airfield, but also the Saki airfield in Novofedorivka was hit during the night. Helicopters were used against the Ukrainian UAVs.
Public channels immediately reported fires. Meanwhile, breaking news. Intelligence data has been leaked. The Russians are actively building an alternative to the Crimean Bridge. A new land-based railway corridor is already operational. Trains carrying equipment and personnel are moving non-stop. It looks like a strategic breakthrough, but is the Kremlin preparing to flee? This route could become the last chance to escape from the peninsula. What are the occupiers planning? A large-scale offensive from the south, or an attempt to disappear without a trace? All the details in the report. Coming up.
The occupiers' maritime logistics have been virtually cut off after successful strikes by the defense forces on Russian ships. The Kerch Bridge is also under the sights of Ukrainian defenders. Our defenders have turned it into a potentially vulnerable logistical artery. The land corridor that the enemy is setting up is essentially an alternative to the Kerch Bridge, through which the Russians transfer weapons to the occupied peninsula. The aggressor had planned to lay the railway even before the full-scale invasion, but failed because our defenders controlled the Mariupol direction.
This is some non-existent railway they promised to build right along the Sea of Azov, and nothing has come of it. Nothing has been done, and nothing is being done. I highly doubt that they will do it.
During the Great War, after capturing territory in several of our regions, the Russians announced the creation of a land railway corridor to the temporarily occupied Crimea. They announced this as an achievement, but in reality they are using the existing Ukrainian railway, which had already been there before.
They occupied it and are using it. In 2014, they cut off a section of this railway, first from Donetsk region and initially in Donetsk, as well as in occupied Crimea. And in 2022, they took it over completely.
The route of the so-called railway corridor starts from Rostov-on-Don, then passes through Taganrog, goes through temporarily occupied Ukrainian cities, Mariupol, Berdyansk, Melitopol, and further into Crimea. The railway tracks, the Russians have been repairing them for several years because they were damaged during the fighting.
And only then, after a period of intense strategic planning and significant logistical effort, did the Russians meticulously construct this crucial land route. It was unequivocally established, not with the intention of facilitating general civilian transportation or fostering economic exchange, but rather its primary and overriding purpose was undeniably for explicit military objectives, serving as a vital conduit for troop movements, equipment deployment, and strategic resupply operations, thereby solidifying their tactical advantage in the region.
First and foremost, it's for defense and offense. The occupiers plan to transport both personnel and equipment with ammunition in order to continue holding the peninsula and launching attacks on southern Ukraine from there. They cannot rely solely on the so-called Kerch Bridge because Ukrainian special services have made it clear that they have plans to destroy it.
As long as it's a single track line, as long as it's not electrified, as long as the transportation is irregular, this could take a very long time. In other words, there is no fixed schedule whatsoever. Each individual train convoy has its own uniquely and meticulously planned route. There are no regular shipments there, and it's unlikely there will be any in the near future.
This corridor passes through territories where fighting is ongoing, so the Russians are trying to protect it from attacks by the Ukrainian armed forces. They cover their equipment with fishing nets.
But you can't cover everything with nets, and who says it will only be our drones? Their combat capabilities are obviously increasing, and we all clearly understand that we cannot allow the enemy to create opportunities, alternative logistical routes, and the development of a land corridor.
Our defenders are closely monitoring the enemy's actions, analyzing them, and are already developing a plan to strike enemy convoys.
This could make for a really spectacular hit when the transportation begins. Let's wish all our defenders
achieved great success indeed.
Which important Putin facility do you think will be the next prime target for Ukrainian drones on Russian territory? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button under the video and stay up to date with the main news. There are now over 440,000 of us subscribed. More to come. See you soon.